Hi, I am Thomas from Believe in the Run.
This is Meaghan with Believe in the Run.
And today we're talking about ASICS.
The Glideride Max.
Everybody thought the Glideride was gone.
Yeah.
It's not. It's
Well,
back.
Kind of, and different.
It's different, but look, it's the makeup of the shoe, and what the brief for the shoe is back, which is a long daily trainer, long haul, cushioned.
Are you trying to say long run?
Yeah, I'm trying to say long run.
Long run shoe.
Yeah, it's a long run shoe. So Meg, what do we got here?
So, like we said, this is the revival of the Glideride. It's your long run daily trainer, and I will say step-in feel of this shoe is pretty lovely.
It is. They did some nice things in this shoe other than just having a really nice engineered mesh upper that fits like
A glove?
a glove, or I'd say all the other ASICS shoes. I mean, it really feels similar to the Nimbus in the upper. The tongue is a little bit of a different variation than we've seen in some of the other shoes, but it's more of a padded tongue rather than a knit stretchy tongue that I like in the Nova Blast. Doesn't take away from the shoe. It is gusseted on the sides with that elastic strip holding your foot in nicely over the top. I didn't have any issues with the upper. Meg, did you?
No, and like you mentioned, it reminds me a lot of the Nimbus. Just aesthetically looking at it, you would think that someone might actually be wearing the Nimbus when you look down. But yeah, it fit true to size. It accommodated my wide foot fine. The padding around the heel is really nice. And like Thomas said, I do kind of miss the knit tongue, but it's okay. It's very comfortable.
I've had problems in the past with trying to find the exact right size in ASICS sometimes. This year, everything's been 10.5. Everything's been fitting fine. So I think they figured out whatever the variation was in the shoe line, but this one fits perfect. What's kind of interesting is where your toe sits in the shoe, you actually sit over before the break in the toe. So you're actually sitting up top, which really helps with the roll through. Let's talk a little bit about some of the comfort features they've added. It does have an Ortholite insole, so you're getting that premium insole over top of a new foam. Meg, what's it called?
It's called Flytefoam Blast Max, which I guess is conveniently matching Glideride Max.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what the makeup is, and when we talked to ASICS, it didn't seem like they were ready to throw it out there what the chemical makeup of it is, but it's squishy, it's soft.
It's soft.
It feels light. I think we're gonna be seeing it in other models coming up in 2025, so it should be one of those new foams that's coming that's gonna add a little bit of that energy return, that bounce into some of these ASICS shoes.
Yeah, so right beneath this layer of the Flytefoam Blast Max, you have a hard pressed 3/4 EVA plate, and then beneath that is the Flytefoam Blast Eco. So the EVA bottom layer of the shoe adds a little bit like support and stability, and it's much firmer than that Max that sits above it. So I think it works really well because you get that softness when you first put your foot into the shoe from the Max, and then that stability and support from the firmer foam underneath.
And while you say firmer, I think if you look back to the previous Gliderides, this is definitely the softest, most comfortable version of the shoe yet.
Yeah, no, in general, for sure, the underfoot feel is very soft. Just in terms of the 2 layers of foam, that one's a little bit firmer.
And I think when we talk about a hardened EVA plate, that's a fancy way to say a plastic plate.
Yeah.
It's a 3/4 plastic plate, but you can see it's somewhat flexible. Like this shoe, considering like we were just talking about the Mag Max from Puma, and that shoe doesn't have any plate, but it's super stiff as far as the shoe goes. This one, even with the 3/4 plate, you can see easy to bend, easy to get some flexibility out of it, and it just feels really nice as it rolls through your stride. As a matter of fact, what do they call the geometry of this?
I think guide
sole?
Guide sole?
Yeah, it's guide sole technology.
There it is.
So, and that's basically a rocker. And like I said, with your toe sticking out a little bit over the top of this and having that rocker bottom, it really does roll smoothly through your stride.
Yeah, it reminded me a lot also, we talked about the upper looking like the Nimbus 26, but also the general feel of this shoe kind of reminded me of the Nimbus, but it just has a little bit more bounce or pop to it. I don't know if that's because of the plate or because of the combination
of the foams.
But yeah, it reminded me of that. So I think if you liked the Nimbus but you were looking for something with a little bit more
fun
give, yeah, a little more energy return, then I feel like this you're gonna really like.
This is, to me, like sometimes I'm like, okay, why is there a Nimbus and this? And I kind of understand where it fits in the shoe lineup, in the fact that like the Nimbus is your standard daily cushion trainer that you're gonna put on most runners. This has got a little more specificity in it, that this is really dialed in for those longer runs, a smooth turnover. I think what ASICS is doing here is like, okay, here's your training shoe for those long days when you're not necessarily doing speed work or anything in it. You just need to cruise and gobble up miles. This shoe does it. We're gonna go down to the outsole here, Meg. We've got 2 different kinds of rubber.
Yeah, they're calling it the hybrid ASICSGRIP, and it's a combination of ASICSGRIP and AHAR Plus. And so it's, I mean, I've put, I think 25, 30 miles on my pair so far, so there's minimal wear on it.
Yeah.
But the traction and durability seems good.
Everything in this shoe is really dialed in. It is kind of interesting that I always felt like the previous models were like really niche and kind of a little bit on the blocky side. Especially the first one was really structured for that role.
Yeah.
And it was like almost hard. This one comes in, it has all the features that you like as far as being a comfortable, cushy ride. So for those long runs, you really have a nice amount of stack in here, Meg.
Yeah, you have a ton. So it's 44 in the heel, 38 in the forefoot, 6mm drop, so plenty underfoot.
Yeah, I actually think for the women's though, it drops down to 43, 37. Can you tell the difference?
I don't think I'm gonna notice.
All right.
Yeah.
It is a little confusing to me why you might choose this over some other ASICs. It kind of falls in like if I was gonna say, okay, Nimbus. Well, Nimbus is like a dialed down version a little bit and it's $10 cheaper. But then you go to Nova Blast, and I really like the Nova Blast for your daily miles and kind of like those up-tempo runs. And then Super Blast that's the one I would like to use for my long runs and stuff, because it is light enough to pick up the pace. So you could, work in some marathon paces with the Super Blast.
Yeah.
So where does this one fit in for you?
Well, before we jump to that, you did mention we haven't talked about the weight yet, because you said the Super Blast was super light. And my women's 7.5 came in at 8.2 ounces or 238 grams.
US men's 10.5 came in at 10.6 ounces or 300 grams.
Yeah, so it's a little bit heavier than the Super Blast. So I was actually told by someone that this might replace that shoe for me, but for me, it doesn't. The Super Blast is still gonna be my pick for those long run days, and it's lighter. I just think the foam is my preference for that long run. But I think people that liked the original Glide Ride or people that love the Nimbus are also gonna enjoy the shoe.
Yeah, I think if I had to choose between the Nimbus and this shoe, I'd probably go with this shoe.
Sure.
So it's a little bit lighter. The Nimbus is over 11 ounces. So this is lighter than the Nimbus. You get a really nice cushion feel underfoot, that glide sole technology through your stride, 2 different kinds of rubber. I think it's worth that extra $10 to just go up to that next level. I think that now the Glide Ride looks and feels like a typical running shoe. I think this is a winner.
Okay, so on that note, is it getting a green light?
This is definitely getting a green light.
Okay.
I have no issues with the shoe.
Yeah, I think it'll also get a green light from me. The only thing I will say is I said this about a recent review in another brand as well, is it's kind of gets lost for me as to where this is in my lineup. Like I said, I would choose the Super Blast for my long runs. I would choose the Nova Blast for my shorter runs, and I'm gonna race in the Meta Speed. So while I love this shoe and I think it's great, I'm just not sure that I have a place for it right now.
For me, this fits a different kind of consumer. So if you are someone that's saying you want to run a comfortable long marathon or a comfortable long distance run, this is a shoe that you may want to choose, and it's less aggressive than I think the Super Blast. So this is kind of like an elevated daily trainer. It's not quite a super shoe. It's more of a shoe that's built to design to just roll through your stride and help you get through those long runs.
Yeah, I can see that. So another note is this is $170. It will be available September 17th.
All right. Anything else?
I think that's it.
All right. Hopefully you enjoyed this video.
We're definitely at 100 subs
We
now.
gotta be. But if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. Also, check out BelieveInTheRun.com for all our reviews, and our videos are up there as well. And you can sign up for our weekly email, which will list out every week for you what's going on with Believe in the Run, what reviews are out, video, written, etc.
All of it.
All of it. And would you want people to tune in to Fuel for the Soul, especially since it's probably like marathon season right now?
Yeah, so we've got 2 podcasts, The Drop and Fuel for the Soul. So definitely check those out. And if you're not following us on the gram, head over there.
Yeah, and right now, building up to marathons and stuff like that, Fuel for the Soul is a great resource. You can learn about hydration, nutrition, so that you have a successful race day.
Yeah, tune in.
All right.